Welcome back, and you are watching Game On, and Aaqib Javed is giving us a brief talk. So please, if you could continue from the start, so our audience can become the part.
We were just discussing associate cricket, their problems, but I think ICC should look into that, because even the biggest, the champion teams are dying. Like West Indies, like Zimbabwe,
Sri Lanka,
Pakistan. Even people think, oh, Pakistan, great talent.
We have our share of problems.
But if you go down to their grassroots, it's dying.
Non-existent.
Every kid is not interested in hardball cricket. Yeah. They just go in the park, streets, play with the tennis ball, and that's it. There's grounds not available if you even booked a ground. And the first question they will raise, no cricket spikes, because
they have to maintain it for the corporate matches.
They're going to make money every day. Yeah. So I think the ICC should have a task force, and one chunk of money which they're giving to the countries, even associate or main boards, it has to be spent on grassroots level.
Yeah. You are so very right. So we have 64,000 club cricketers. And there are about 225 players playing first-class cricket, and we have only 6 first-class teams. So the proportion has to be corrected. Otherwise, many players are now becoming disillusioned, because now cricket here in Pakistan is a full-time job. So they leave their academics, so they have no careers to pursue. So that's the thing.
Actually, we are, where we are losing our players. Okay, once you are 16, 17 in the school, everybody allows their kids to play. Our under-19 system is actually destroying our cricket. Yeah. You know what they do? Middle of the season, 3 months, under-19 championship. Yeah. So those kids cannot go to school or university. Yeah. So what happened when
they're graduating?
All the parents, all the educated boys vanished away. Only the people who are not going to school, not doing anything, they are only playing that under-19, and they will only come up to the first class level and to the national level. So it has to be a Saturday Sunday based cricket for over the 8 months, where you can have people who are studying, educated people who works, people who don't work, so you have a mixed group of players.
But the situation is even worse, Sir and David. The reason is that in our times we had university grant commissions, we had universities team, we had all Pakistan school teams. But now everything has evaporated, it has disintegrated, even our club cricket, because the grounds have become extinct, and the housing societies and the buildings coming up, and it has become saturated because of the overload of population as well. So now cricket is being neglected.
Javed's point in connection where the money should be going into the grassroots. Yeah. We have the same problems in the Caribbean, because all the monies that comes through from ICC participation with ICC tournaments, for some reason, it is trying to uplift the individuals who already made it. Right. Individuals who already being professionals, and it is not good. Yeah. I just believe that Javed's point is so correct, that if we can get proper accountability for the money spent, that is where we got to be, from the grassroots. That's the big picture, and that would create, in my opinion, the bigger
David,
picture.
you want to add something, or I have a question for 2 of you?
Okay, no, I made the point before that governance is important, so every cricket board has to be responsible. Yeah. Wherever the money's coming in from, and however much that money is, they're the ones who have to make the best use of it. I mean, it's beyond my tiny brain to tell them exactly what to do with it, but it's very obvious where it goes wrong and where money goes missing. And that is the biggest crime of all in our sport, and it happens in other sports. When money goes missing, God knows where, that's the biggest crime.
But there's another concern now, and that is, again, with reference to the ICC, that these broadcasting rights, the ICC broadcasting rights, 8-year rights from 2015 to 2023, the global rights, they went for $2.2 billion, right? And the Indian Cricket Board rights, the BCCI rights from 2018 to 2023, the 5-year rights, they went for $1.1 billion. And the Indian Premier League, now, it has a brand of $6.19 billion, and the rights sold from 2018 to 2023, they were of $2.6 billion. But now they're adding 2 more franchises. The brand value shall escalate to $9 billion. And there'll be 90 matches in the Indian Premier League. They'll be consuming almost 3 months of the international calendar. And then the value which they're aiming at is about $6 billion rights. So my concern is that 3 months out of the FTP for the international tours, one. Second is that it's just like in football that one individual league which actually earned this one edition of 2021 IPL earned only for the Indian territories the commercial broadcast value. Though India has a mixed structure, they have subscription model also, but that earned $580 million. So now you tell me that if one league is holding hostage the entire international cricketers and the boards, they are being paid as well. So do you think where ICC will be in the next 3 years? What will happen to our test match cricket? Isn't it a dangerous trend that we'll only be having World Cup competitions and the leagues, and that's all?
The short answer is yes, it's a very, very dangerous trend.
Yeah.
And what we've seen, again, over the last decade or so is proof that ICC is not much more than a club. Because their actual power to influence, in this case India, is minimal. We've seen it with things like, relatively small things like DRS. Yeah. If India doesn't want DRS, they don't have it.
Yeah.
Until they feel, okay, maybe you can try it now. Yeah, is that all right?
But now Sony has purchased the DRS and the Hawkeye.
They've now embraced it. And that should have happened. Should have been. It's a relatively minor matter.
Yeah.
Nothing compared to all this money we're talking about and the time. So coming on to the major matter. I agree. If you have IPL taking over best part of 3 months, it is going to destroy so many good things in our game.
Yes.
And the international game has to be paramount. India has to be aware that the rest of the world wants to play as well. We'd like to play too, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the only way that sensible agreement, compromise can be reached is if ICC and its members can come together strong and say, no, this will give you 2 months. We understand that it's good for the game in many, many ways, yes, but 2 months is enough because England, for instance, has no time to play all its cricket.
Yeah.
Summer is not long enough. We need summer to be the length of 2 years to get all our cricket in. Around the world, you're right, bilateral test series, which are part of our history. For so many countries. Yeah. And it shouldn't just be India, Australia and England. It should be everyone involved in proper cricket at the highest level, sharing the love of the game.
Absolutely.
It is a global game,
Yeah.
this cricket.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you can point to, the IPL.
Yeah.
Why is it that players from around the world, I know the money and all that stuff is very attractive, why you can have the best players around the world come to your venue and participate in your house, your house party, and your players cannot go?
Cannot go,
I have a problem with that.
That's the hegemonic presence,
I have a
as
huge
David
problem.
rightly pointed towards that. And another concern is not only, sir, about this money and these leagues overtaking the international brand, but now it's not a small thing, this DRS. It actually cost us dearly. How? That this recent cancellation of the Pakistan-New Zealand tour, New Zealand's tour to Pakistan, Pakistan Cricket Board didn't have the confirmation, so they didn't get connected to the dealers providing this DRS system, and it was supposedly, this series was supposed to be part of the ICC World Championships, but unfortunately due to the unavailability of the DRS, because it had already been installed on 3 venues in the Emirates, in lieu of the Indian Premier League. So at the end of the day, no vendor was available who could give us the DRS, and we had to forfeit that ICC World Test Championship status, and it was eventually turned into a bilateral series. And once New Zealand went back, we couldn't go to the ICC because it was not the ICC World Championship anymore. It was just a simple bilateral series. So this hegemonic presence is actually this commercial thing, vulgar commercialism, I'll say, to be very harsh. It's vulgar commercialism, and it has left the cricketing fraternity polarized, because countries like South Africa, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, West Indies, Zimbabwe, Ireland, Afghanistan, they're on the one end of the map, and the four big brothers, I'm sorry, but this is the truth.
Let's
They're
remember
on
one
one
point
side.
as well.
Yeah,
Where India is at today,
yeah,
they weren't yesterday.
yeah. And that's because of the IPL.
And why do you think that?
Yeah.
That happened? Because there are other teams from around the world who would have participated hugely
Yeah.
in India, and with the crowds that they had coming in, did help to make a lot of money for the Indian
Of
Cricket
course,
Board.
of course. That expanded the outlay and the brand.
So,
Well, the other danger, I mean, it's probably not going to happen hugely in India because of the sheer numbers of resources, population, everything they've set up with this enormous amount of money they have. But the other thing that can happen, and yesterday was a bit of a microcosm of this, is you can fail.
Yeah.
If your team is not number one in the world,
Yeah.
you know, be it test matches,
Yeah.
ODIs,
Yeah.
T20,
Yeah.
and that's where you think you should be,
Yeah.
then people can lose interest. If you want to use the football analogy again, you use the Premier League as an analogy. 20, 30 years ago, Liverpool were unbeatable. Then it was Manchester United, were unbeatable. Then it was Man City, were unbeatable. Now Liverpool win again. Now, these things can change. And if you have that sort of hubris of believing you are the best for all time, something can come underneath and sort of just
Of
take away
course,
your
of
foundations.
course.
But
This is
as I say,
cyclical.
it's
pull
kind
the
of
rug
unlikely.
from under your feet.
It's unlikely to happen to India in a hurry because they are so very, very strong. But of course, the problems are much bigger for those without the budgets, without that extraordinary influence.
So all the more important that India should also realize that these countries eventually are going to come to their rescue if they sustain. If they are not going to sustain,
Well,
cricket is going to
I don't think they're going to
be
listen to that
jeopardized.
argument at this particular moment.
I think
Yeah.
the last
Yeah.
last night game,
Yeah.
that is the lesson the other team should
thank you.
start
That's,
them.
that's a serious message.
Started
Yeah, it's a very
beating them badly.
Yeah, very serious.
Realize them that, look, you are not the only one.
Aaqib now,
In the game.
Yeah, but Aaqib, there is another issue, because if you remember, about 5 years ago, India's share, the ICC share for 8 years was $570 million. And then they wanted ICC to give them that space in the FTP. So they agreed to reduce their money to $270 million and instead bartered it with about 2.5 months of Indian Premier League window in the FTP. So now they're earning much more.
Yeah.
So
I mean, to be fair, that's shrewd. I mean, that's understanding a marketplace.
Yeah,
So that is good management.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is selfish. It is one-sided.
Yeah.
And I think, again, coming back to the ICC briefly, without sort of overdoing this, the whole point of ICC is to bring together
yes,
the cricketing nations at the various different levels. And if they don't have the power to keep control of any one of those nations, that's actually the biggest worry for us all.
It boils down to the fact that we need the ICC to start governing.
yeah. But unfortunately, sir,
And governing
But
fairly.
but unfortunately, when you get to the ICC, they say, unlike FIFA, we are not the governing body. We are dependent on the full members and their votes because
But why
they are the
not?
legislative
Well,
body.
yeah.
They are the legislative
Well, I
body.
mean, okay, so the danger then is that self-interest creeps in.
Yeah.
So again, why Australia getting money, why England are getting money? Because self-interest
Yeah.
from their constituent members. So I mean, they are driven from the bottom as well. They've got members within their own system saying, well, we need to do this, we need to do that.
Yeah, sure. Right.
But so that self-interest needs to be overcome. And for instance, it's fascinating coming here to listen to Aaqib talk about the system in Pakistan.
Yeah.
Because from outside, you have this image of 200 million people, only one of which in the entire country doesn't like cricket. You know that the interest of the game in this country is just immense, and the passion is immense. And so the ability to be able to play that game for anyone from the age of, say, 5 onwards would be part of the system that allows that huge, wonderful tradition to be maintained.
Yeah, but the real essence of cricket actually is lost somewhere because when we were growing up, we used to listen to that old maxim that a black bowler holding a red ball bowling to a white batsman. So that was the pure essence of that was the actual globalization of cricket, much above the race, caste, creed. It was about skill, it was about diplomacy, it's about interactivity and cultural communion.
Until
So
Tony Gray came along.
Yeah, we have lost somewhere.
Until Tony Gray came along.
Yeah, until Tony Gray came along.
Bless him, he's
May God bless his soul.
So, Aaqib, if you want to add something, and then your team for the day, and we'll just wind it up.
Team for the day is Afghanistan.
Okay.
And
Tell me something new, Mike.
okay, new means Afghanistan is the only associate country who can rise.
Okay.
Because
Of the indigenous talent
like
also.
Pakistan, India, the whole country loves cricket.
Couple of players representing Pakistan, they're actually Afghans.
But wouldn't it be fair to say that Pakistan have played a huge part
Yeah,
in the whole
definitely.
process
It's
of
fair to
where
say, yeah.
Afghanistan are today?
These boys grew up in
Look,
Pakistan.
Pakistan Cricket Board of Pakistan nation have developed big time to Bangladesh as well.
Yeah, yeah.
They used to come here and they used to be part of our first class system. And Afghans, we trained them in our NCA or our systems for many years, but from last few years they went to India. And now
That was again the political part.
Now they're coming back.
They're coming back.
okay.
So before we wind up, sir, one last thing is that do you really think that our cricket is in safe hands in the future? Not Pakistan, our game of cricket. Or we are lost somewhere. That's just vulgar commercialism versus why these nations were playing cricket.
How many $1 million is that question worth? I think there are enough people, and especially when you have conversations like this, there are enough people who value the game for what it should be, that will keep an eye on it. And inevitably, I think what needs to be set up in the respective boards is you need someone who understands the globalized commercial issues of the game, but in context, and you need someone in there at the top who understands cricket, for cricket alone. So, I mean, those countries that have people with experience in both, somewhere at the top, will keep the balance.
But sir, another one last thing, that in the 1960s, in the mid-1960s, it was in 1969 actually, that the administrative, the hegemonic presence as far as administrative clout was concerned, it was like England and Australia, they had the right of veto. So it was the BCCP president, the former Pakistan captain Abdul Hafiz Qadar, who took up this issue in the ICC and eventually managed to have just single vote for and the basis of equality for all the test playing members. Then this apartheid thing propped up of Bezir de Oliver affair, again I think in 1968-69. So it was Pakistan, those who just talked about racial discrimination, and they wanted, and South Africa went out of cricket. Then they actually developed Sri Lanka. They wanted Sri Lanka, they promoted Sri Lanka in the region to get to the full status. As he is saying, our club cricketers used to go to Bangladesh, and those stadiums in Dhaka, they used to be filled like anything, like it was an international match. So again, Pakistan played a role. Pakistan played a role in this Afghan team coming up now. But at the end of the day, when it comes to diplomacy, when it comes to financial things and the vulgar commercialism, I don't think so that this time it will be easy to make India understand what's the real importance of having the teams having an equal share.
If this thing's going to be spread out fairly, we need a governing body that is pretty much solid in its decision making. And if you don't have that, you're going to continue to see the things the way they are. One or two countries being as powerful as anything as can be.
But cricket's not alone. I mean, many other global sports, football, has immense problems because of whichever part of the world has the most influence at this precise moment.
Agreed.
And I'm not going to talk about the Football World Cup going somewhere not far down the road from here, because that's got its own issues.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Aaqib. It was a pleasure to have you. So you're joining us in Urdu, or you're going back?
I'll see.
Oh, you will see. Thank you, David, and thank you, Sir Wave. It's always a pleasure, and I hope I didn't went out of my box discussing ICC, English cricket, hegemonic presence. I hope it was fine.
They're the rulers of the game, so and they've been found wanted for quite some time. So why not discuss?
I think last comment, as Viv mentioned, I think all the cricket board, why can't they sit together and give a message to India that, okay, if you're not allowing your players in our league, our players are not coming to PSL.
No, but they're getting money in return, even the boards. If Australian cricketers go and play IPL, the
They
boards
get the
the
return
money.
from the players.
Yeah.
A percentage.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's
they,
against
so the boards are like agents.
They're destroying themselves
Yeah.
for only a little chunk.
Yeah, you're so very right. Thank you, Aaqib. Thank you very much. So your team is Afghanistan?
Well, no, just to be contrary, and just because I sense something here with that West Indies, England, Afghanistan, Scotland vibe.
Yeah.
One of us needs to support Scotland, right?
So your team is Scotland, Afghanistan. Today,
yeah.
my team is
I'm a Ghani today.
Scotland.
Hey,
I'm a Ghani today.
So my team is Scotland, and we'll take a break. We'll be coming back with our Urdu panel. Game on hai!